Nearly a decade ago, Audi introduced the Q5 compact SUV. It was designed to complement the A4, but little did Audi know that this would eventually overtake the A4 and become the company's best-selling model, with Audi moving roughly 70,000 units here in America every year. So as you can see, I'm standing by the completely refreshed Q5, redone for 2021. It sports updated styling front and rear, more power underneath the hood, and an updated infotainment system that should be much improved for a lot of those tech-savvy buyers. So the big question I want to answer, if you guys are looking for a new compact SUV, has Audi made enough changes to keep the Q5 competitive? That's what we're here to find out. So just like the refreshed A4 sedan, Audi played it pretty conservative with the redesign of the Q5. It does have a much better look, of course, versus the pre-refreshed Q5. I really like the new Audi corporate grille. As you can remember before, previously, the Audi single frame grille had a lot of horizontal lines. They've now replaced that with the vertical slats that we first saw, of course, on the Q8, the Q3, the refreshed A4 has it. On this particular one here, this is a Premium Plus model, so this is designed to be the mid-trim. This is probably the one that a lot of you end up leasing. Audi offers a really good lease special on these. This is a really important model for the company because they sell so many. You do have these updated headlights, which are very similar to the ones that I saw on the A4. These are now the Matrix design LED headlights. If you guys go to the Prestige model, Audi offers an even higher upgraded headlight, which offers the animation design. They don't offer the full laser headlights here in America just yet because it's not quite legal. This particular one here is also missing the S-Line Sport package or the Black Optics package, so instead we have the bright silver work. You have the silver work here. No fog lights down here in the lower fascia. Instead, that little area there is just a sensor for the adaptive radar cruise control. But overall, let me know in the comments below what you think of the refreshed Q5. I think they've done a pretty good job, but Audi's design language doesn't quite stand out quite as much as the previous generations of Audis. Keep in mind, this is just the base 45 TSI, so this is the base 2-liter turbo. Audi also offers a plug-in hybrid and an SQ5, which I'll review for a later date. Now, looking at the side profile, you can see the overall silhouette has not changed. However, they did make some nice changes to the wheels. These are a new 20-inch wheel design. They're an $800 option on the regular Q5 model. They're wrapped in 255 series tires. I think the wheels look good, but I wish that it had a different color versus just this kind of boring silver finish. Audi also offers an available air suspension if you guys go for an SQ5. The plug-in hybrid model has its own unique set of wheels, same with the SQ5. Now, at 111 inch long for the wheelbase and 183.6 inches long overall, this is, again, pretty much what you expect for a compact SUV. It's about the same length as something like an Audi A4. Audi Q5s have always been kind of the right size, although if you guys are looking for a mid-size crossover, you're gonna have to look at like a Q8. They don't have technically something that's just above this in price versus like a Q7. Now, looking at the rear of the vehicle, you can see pretty subtle changes. I do like this new chrome strip that they've added that connects the two taillight modules together. These are the full LED taillights. If I had the Prestige model, the taillights would do the little animation dance whenever you lock and unlock the car. This one here does not have that feature. And then down here, you can see no visible exhaust tips. Audi was kind of guilty of putting fake exhaust tips on the back of performance models like the SQ5. They actually rectified that for 2021, where they actually put a better looking exhaust system. But this one here, being the regular model, doesn't actually have any exposed exhaust tips. Now, opening up the trunk cargo area, you can see the Q5 offers a pretty decent amount of space. With the seats up, remember this is only a 2-row vehicle, you get around 25 cubic feet of space. If you want to fold the seats down, which Audi actually makes pretty easy, just pull this right here and then push that forward. You get around 54 cubic feet of space with all the seats folded. That's not bad, but keep in mind something like a BMW X3, a Volvo XC60 will offer more space. So on the outside, Audi made some nice improvements to the Q5, but what about the interior? Audi also paid equal attention here, and they improved a lot of the tech features that we already liked in the regular Q5, but made it even better for 2021. Now, as you can see, looking at this interior at a glance, it doesn't look all that different. The thing that's going to really stand out the most is that larger screen. All of them now get a 10.1-inch display that replaces the old 7-inch and 8.3-inch display. You can see the door panel in my tester here has this nice darker wood grain accent with a matte finish. The aluminum door handle is nice, and then my tester has a black interior color combination. When I shut the door has that typical Audi solid sounding German thunk. You can see here's the key fob for the vehicle. Just the standard Audi key fob. The intelligent access smart entry is included on this trim. The button to fire up the engine is down here by the shifter. And you can see my Premium Plus tester includes the latest version of Audi's virtual cockpit and their MMI interface here. This is now a touchscreen, and you can see it includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This is a huge improvement over the previous pre-refresh model, which had wasn't a touchscreen. You had a nice controller knob here, which now has a little empty storage space where you could put your wallet or some keys. The virtual cockpit display you can see has also been updated. And this interior is still a relatively nice place to spend time, but it no longer feels quite as luxurious or class-leading as it used to. The materials you can see on the dash are a soft touch injection molded plastic, but it's barely soft touch. I do like the matte finish wood grain. You can also spec in a gray wood grain if you don't like this brown colored one. The door panel is also barely soft touch. It should be leather stitched and just a lot more plush. You'll get that in something like the Mercedes competitors. Nice wood over here. It is padded right here where your elbows are going to rest. The door panels have that, or the window switches have that typical Audi satisfying click feel. You've got power folding mirrors. Your headlight controls are over here. And the steering wheel you can see is a pretty large diameter. It has these plastic paddles on the wheel. It offers a manual tilt telescoping ability, and some competitors do offer a powered tilt telescoping wheel. I don't believe Audi offers that on the Q5 right now. You can see, just like other virtual cockpit models, you can put your phone information here or your GPS information. If you push this view button here on the steering wheel, it actually makes the gauges a little bit smaller, which is cool. And then you can also put in your driver assistance stuff. So all of this is pretty class leading, along with this new touchscreen infotainment system. I love the way the graphics look. I love how responsive it is. I love Audi's interface, of course. And I also like, just how this is laid out. It's very easy to use. It's pretty easy to understand. And I like how Audi finally made it a touchscreen, which they've been doing and implementing on all their latest model vehicles. This was one of the last ones to get that. Now over here you can see dual zone climate control. You have heated seats, 3-level heated seats, but no cooled seats. There's a place for that. As you can see here, my tester is missing a warm weather package that would include that. I do have a heated steering wheel, which is nice. There's a dedicated button over here. The seats, these are Audi's 12-way power adjustable seats with 2-person memory on the driver's side. I would probably upgrade to get the warm weather package with the Audi sports seats. These seats are kind of a little bit basic looking for me. The interior in general, the black interior, is just a little bit too plain for me, but that's again up to your specific taste. Your drive mode selector is over here. Audi offers a choice between like an off-road comfort, dynamic, individual, and air suspension is included on some models. And if you go to off-road mode and those models, the vehicle will actually raise itself up to give you like an extra 1.5 inches of ground clearance, which is nice. Well, this controls the 7-speed dual clutch. This doesn't really change. Push that little button over there, push it forward to go to reverse. You can see there's a very nice top-down 360 camera, which is included on this trim. Previously, you had to go to like a prestige trim, so Audi's been kind of, migrating some of the higher end features onto the lower trim levels, which is always nice. Down here you can see cup holders. There's a little lid that can slide forward if you'd like to cover up those cup holders. This right here, sadly, is too small to fit my iPhone 12 Pro Max. I wished it was just a little bit larger so it would fit, so I found myself putting my phone over here. It doesn't really fit in here, so there needs to be a little bit better storage in this vehicle for cell phones and whatnot. Over here you can see, here's the wireless phone charger. So I guess I could put my phone over there and it'll start wirelessly charging it. And if you slide that forward, you can see there is some storage over there, although it's not very large compared to, again, some of the mainstream offerings. But overall, this cabin is still pretty nice. Above me, this particular one includes the panoramic sunroof, which is huge. It lets in a lot of light. Above me as well, you also have some really nice LED lighting with this nice touch-sensitive, light fixture. And then open up the glove compartments here. You can see it's big, it's damped, and it's lined with felt. So this interior is still pretty nice, but it no longer feels quite as luxurious as it used to. And Audi, what they essentially did is they updated the tech in this car, which is what it needed to get. But I wish Audi would offer a little bit of a warmer, more luxurious feeling in their cabins. Now, hopping into the back seat of the latest Q5, Audi didn't increase the space back here because this is just a refresh, so you still get around 38 inches of legroom back here, which is actually not bad. It feels a little bit more spacious, at least for me at 5'7". There's a pretty good amount of foot space. There is a fairly large hump here, so if you guys are looking to put a middle passenger, they're going to be a little cramped. You can see there are 2 rear seat air vents, your own set of climate control. There are 2 USB ports, a 12-volt power outlet, and above me there's this big panoramic sunroof. That's included when you guys go for the Premium Plus trims and up. You can also delete this sunroof if you guys don't want it, or just buy a baser end model. Now, there's a nice little armrest here that folds down, gives you 2 cup holders, and if you'd like, this seat can actually recline slightly to help give rear seat passengers more comfort. In terms of the materials, it is a slightly soft padded area here on the door panels, but there's no heated rear seats back here. You have to step it up to a higher end Audi to get that. Now under the hood of the refreshed Q5, you're actually going to find more power for the base engine and across the board. Now this is the base motor that a lot of you end up purchasing as a lease vehicle. It's the company's 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's now paired up with a mild hybrid system, which means the drive belts are now powered by an electric motor, which doesn't actually add any horsepower, but Audi did increase the power this year, but that's not because of the electric motor, that's because of internals that they've readjusted in the engine that help it make 261 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. That does make this more powerful versus the BMW X3 and Mercedes-Benz GLC, which Audi says are the direct rivals. Now the cool thing about this engine, it's paired with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission, which is interesting because if you guys go for the SQ5, that actually has an 8-speed automatic paired with its turbocharged V6. Now that's a different review. This one here as it sits weighs a little over 4,000 pounds and fuel economy is not bad. It's rated at 23 in the city, 28 on the highway. Keep in mind there's also a plug-in hybrid version of the Q5 that offers up to 362 horsepower from this engine plus an electric motor. I'll save that of course for a different review. Now if you guys are looking to tow, this will tow a maximum of 4,400 pounds and Audi says you should be getting to 60 in around 5.7 seconds. All right, so the Q5, this is not the powertrain that I wanted to initially drive, but this is the base engine that most people tend to buy. Remember, this has a dual clutch transmission. It now has 261 horsepower. Let's put it in sport mode. Let's just floor it and see how it performs. Ooh. Audi says this will get to 60 in 5.7 seconds. Now, it does feel pretty quick, and because it's a dual clutch, you also notice the transmission shifts pretty quick. It's relatively smooth. Audi and VW does really good dual clutches, but really, you feel so much low-end torque, and you hear a nice little burble from the exhaust. This is a fine powertrain for about 80 to 90% of people who buy Q5s. That's why so many people buy the Q5 with this powertrain. It's just a great powertrain in general that has plenty of power. Still gets me super curious to drive the PHEV model, which has like 100 more horsepower than this. Audi says 0 to 60 in 5 seconds, and the SQ5, which got revised gear ratios this year, that'll do 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. But this is enough motor for most people. You know, it's rated to get 21 in the city, 29 on the highway, so pretty good gas mileage. In my couple days that I had it, it was averaging around 20 miles to the gallon without even trying too hard. So this is a fine powertrain just to daily drive. It was what makes the Q5 such a enticing option for a lot of people out there. The Quattro all-wheel drive system in this car is also still one of the good ones. It actually will send up to 70% of the torque to the rear wheels, which does make this thing feel a little bit more sporty. The Q5 in general is not like the sportiest option. Buy its sister car, the Porsche Macan, if you want something a little sporty, but you can feel that that Audi has, you know, been learning over the years. This car still, you know, is comfortable to daily drive, but it will hold its own on a back road, and it offers plenty of acceleration, good visibility. This Premium Plus model that I'm driving does come standard with Audi's driver assist, their adaptive cruise with stop and go. Audi's been slowly trickling those driver assistance features further down the physical food chain, so you don't have to buy a prestige model to get it, and you don't have to get like a driver assist package. It just comes standard when you guys go for the Premium Plus package, so that's pretty nice. It does have paddles which respond very well. I like the burble, the noise that it makes as well. This dual clutch is a really good transmission. It confuses me as to why Audi doesn't put this transmission in the SQ5. Instead, they put a torque converter automatic. This transmission is also found in the PHEV model. But like, listen to it. It actually is really good at rev matching. It actually will go to first as well. Very, very nice car. So immediately I'm liking the base engine, even though it's just the base engine. It's a great engine for most people. Now, let's put it out of sport mode here. Let's just go to the Audi comfort setting or the automatic setting, and the Q5 excels as a luxury SUV in the sense that this one rides really well. It's missing the air suspension that you can get on some of the upper trims, but for the steel spring suspension, it still has a very comfortable ride quality, excellent visibility. The seats are also comfortable and supportive, but the leather material could be a little bit softer. It feels a little bit too firm for my taste. Keep in mind, Audi offers upgraded leather seats if you guys want to, pay a little bit extra to get that package. The steering feel in this car is typical Audi. It's light, precise, but it's also a little bit numb and devoid of feel, which is to be expected. I do want to try doing a launch control on this thing because I think it has launch control, but we'll go ahead and we'll give it a try. So we'll turn off the stability control, we'll floor the brake and the throttle. It actually short shifted when I tried that with the stability control off, so it feels like it actually accelerated slower. It doesn't technically have launch control, this car, but it does accelerate quite nicely, and I think a lot of people are going to be pleased with how this car drives as a whole. So as the best-selling model in the Audi portfolio, it doesn't surprise me that the company played it a little bit safe with the refresh of this vehicle. I mean, obviously the pre-refresh model was already a good vehicle. For 2021, Audi has essentially made it better. I especially like the new infotainment system that has a bigger screen that includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I also like the power. The base engine is sufficient for most people. It's relatively efficient, but it does leave me curious to drive the plug-in hybrid and of course try the SQ5, which Audi says they've improved the 0 to 60 performance of that model due to different transmission tuning. And really, what kind of leaves me cold about the Q5 is it just doesn't feel like Audi is quite as innovative as they used to be. There's so many good mainstream offerings out there that the Q5 is kind of left like, if you guys really like the Audi badge, if you guys like Audi, this is a good choice. But remember, there's still the Mercedes-Benz GLC, there's the BMW X3, and if you guys don't have to have a premium brand, a lot of the mainstream offerings are offering essentially the same tech features for about $10,000 less. But really, the plug-in hybrid and the SQ5 are what makes this car unique. But at the base end, it does leave the Q5 to be a little bit expensive, but that's kind of the same way, of course, if you're looking at something like the Mercedes or the BMW. Now, speaking of which, if you guys are looking to purchase this refreshed Q5, they started around $43,300 for the base version. My particular tester is the Premium Plus, which starts around $5,000 more. That includes things like the top-down camera, the 360 camera, the Bang & Olufsen sound, the upgraded virtual cockpit, and the panoramic display. Now, my tester here with the blue color, the $800 for the wheels, the $1,500 for the nav package, stickers for a little over $53,000, which does make the Q5 still a relatively good deal in terms of the luxury space. But again, at $53,000, it's still missing cooled seats. It's still missing the S-Line Sport package, which would make this thing look a little bit more aggressive. So kind of keep that in mind whenever you guys are cross-shopping these small SUVs. But with all that said, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2021 Audi Q5. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook. And as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.